So I'll just make this quick. This semester, we've been talking about professors and stuff, and this semester I think I've got like maybe a couple or dealing with some professors that are kind of pushing forward this leftist agenda or something like that. Like I think I had one mention that we still have a wage gap or something, that the women aren't getting paid as much as the men or something like that, even though I think we outlawed that in the 60s. But I'm just wondering if you have any tips or tricks to deal with professors like that, because I'm personally not one to stand up and go like, that's wrong or something, but I'm not happy just sitting still and not saying anything.
Thank you for the question. I wish our liberal friends would have stayed. We had so much we wanted to talk about tonight with them, right? The whole packets of information and just cross-examination. Oh boy. Thank you for the question. So let's talk about this gender wage gap, which is all a bunch of nonsense. I mean, so it's, again, let's go back to this idea. First of all, the academy has been so corrupted by these baseless and lack of data-driven majors and studies that have just found themselves into the academy, and gender studies is one of them. By basically every single metric, women are doing much better than men in America. Women are living longer. Women are far less likely to commit crimes. They're far less likely to commit suicide. They're far less likely to declare bankruptcy. Young single women in their 20s earn nearly more than 18% more than young single men. Nearly 62% of all new business startups are done by young women. 58% of all college graduates are women. 64% of all PhD candidates are women. 83% of all financial decisions are made by women in America. What patriarchy are we rebelling against here, folks? I mean, seriously, what rights do men have that women don't? And so to these women protesters, yes, well, women do serve, and I appreciate the ones that do, and yeah, the draft, that's correct. So, but I suppose the question is, just looking at the data here, despite one non-multivariate analysis question of this gender wage gap without taking in education, experience, or job choices, which is the most important thing you can possibly do when study the gender wage gap, women are doing much better than men, actually, in America. And I'm okay with it because it's a byproduct of making good choices, actually. It's a byproduct of women doing the three things you have to do to stay out of poverty in America, which is to get married before you have kids, which is to get a job, and to graduate high school. Women do all three of those things a lot better than men. And so if people are rewarded for making better choices, that's a great thing. The oppression Olympics that the left is trying to play right now, where they have women marching in the street because the president said things that they might deem a little offensive, despite the fact that he has the first female press secretary in 10 years, one of the first ever female UN secretary generals, and more females in high-ranking positions and cabinet officials than any other president in U.S. history, and they're marching around with pink hats because they're a little offended. I mean, it's an insult to the intelligence of American women. It really is. By all metrics and by all parameters, this idea of the American-created patriarchy is a myth and a lie, and it's an insult to all the progress that American women have made over the last 50 years, which is substantial. And so that's what I would say to that professor, and you'll probably fail.